Politicians playing an expensive game of red light, green light with your money. Now, they seem harmless as you drive under them, but there is quite a story behind a couple of new traffic lights in the heart of Albuquerque. Tonight, a Larry Barker investigation exposes how one city councilor managed to overrule the evidence and the experts to get his way, and his way was expensive.
How long does it take the government to spend $500,000? Well, watch carefully. This Albuquerque City Council discussion cost taxpayers $29,733 a minute.
Motion and a second. Before I do pass on R322, all those in favor? Yes. Opposed? That passes.
The City Council's action slipped through virtually unnoticed. It didn't make the 10 o'clock news, and it wasn't in the paper the next day. This was a very unusual situation, yes?
It's unique. It's the only one I've dealt with.
So what did taxpayers get for their $446,000? Traffic lights. Where? Central Avenue. Why? Public safety. The evidence for that? There isn't any. What the heck is going on? Ask Albuquerque City Councilor Ray Garduno.
Two things came up very clearly. One is slow down traffic, and the other one was make sure that pedestrians are safe in crossing Central. The community was very concerned about the safety issues along that whole corridor, but primarily at Wellesley and Morningside.
Morningside is a quiet residential street in Albuquerque's Nob Hill. There are a couple of antique stores on the corner. Further west at Wellesley and Central is a popular bar. Councilor Garduno says these intersections are dangerous and need traffic lights. Now, Garduno is not a traffic engineer, but UNM's Dr. Jerry Hall is.
The signals are not inexpensive items, and so you want to do a careful analysis and look at the suggested national criteria to see if you meet those criteria before you would think about putting in a traffic signal.
And that's exactly what Albuquerque traffic engineers did. What was the result of the analysis on the intersection of Wellesley and Central?
That signal did not warrant a traffic signal based on traffic engineering.
And the intersection of Morningside and Central, did that merit a traffic signal?
It did not warrant a traffic signal, no.
Using standardized federal criteria, city engineers surveyed accident reports, hourly vehicle counts, traffic flow, speed limits, and pedestrian foot traffic. The conclusion?
From a traffic engineering standpoint, they're not warranted to put traffic signals at those two locations.
Now, if you thought that's the end of the story, think again. You see, instead of accepting the analysis, Councilor Garduno disregarded it. He claims all traffic engineers did was use one of these gizmos to count cars. He apparently had not seen the city's 6-page technical report. Instead of dropping the idea, Councilor Garduno defied city engineers. He drew up legislation ordering the Municipal Development Department to install those traffic lights. The City Council discussed the bill for 15 minutes, then voted unanimously to put signals where they weren't justified. Then Mayor Martin Chavez signed the legislation. 2 traffic lights where they're not warranted. Is that a wise investment for taxpayers?
It doesn't sound like a wise investment to me.
Why did you decide to overrule the Department of Municipal Development?
No, I didn't decide that. The community did. The only way to protect those pedestrians and to allow them a safe refuge is to make sure that some intersections are signalized.
How does he know? Well, he doesn't. But you didn't do your own independent analysis of the safety issues at those intersections, the vehicular traffic, pedestrian traffic. Did you do your own independent study?
Study? No.
How many individuals and business owners wanted the traffic lights at those intersections?
Every one of the ones that were within the vicinity.
However, the councilor admits he did not poll neighbors about traffic lights. The Nob Hill Neighborhood Association says it did not propose the project. If traffic engineering can't justify the installation of signals at those 2 intersections, how can you justify it?
Public safety. Mr. Barker, how many times do we have to go through this? Public safety was paramount.
Did you contact the Albuquerque Police Department and get enforcement data for those 2 intersections before your resolution?
No, there's no reason to do that.
In fact, police data shows no unusual speeding or accidents in the area. Commander Eric Garcia heads up APD's Metro Traffic Division. How many requests have you had for increased enforcement at those two intersections due to public safety issues?
I haven't had any requests at either intersection.
So what's the harm in putting signals where they aren't needed? Well, traffic engineers say it's just asking for trouble.
If you go down the list of high accident locations, not only in Albuquerque but in the state, they're all signalized intersections. And so it's certainly not guaranteed to improve safety.
Rob Perry is Albuquerque's chief administrative officer.
Do we have enough fat in the budget to put traffic lights where they don't belong?
No, I think there has to be a priority as far as traffic control devices going where they provide the biggest bang for the buck. That in neighborhoods and locations where it really can impact in a positive way traffic safety, traffic flow, economic development, and traffic engineering based on data that's unbiased and sound engineering.
Engineering specialists will tell you there are good reasons why we don't leave technical issues up to the politicians.
I wouldn't want them doing the design of our water systems. I wouldn't want them doing the design of our highways or the design of our bridges. You want to drive over a bridge designed by a politician, unless they're an engineer? I think it's their responsibility to seriously consider the advice that's given to them by the technically trained people.
Today, the City Council's traffic lights are operational. Ray Garduno says now you can cross Central safely at Morningside and Wellesley. But old habits are hard to break. You see, stoplights are just not for everyone. Some folks still prefer to cross the street the old-fashioned way. It's called jaywalking. Oops. Larry Barker, KRQE News 13.